This video is about starting to create our duck hunt project. We're gonna have a duck flying across the canvas, and then we're gonna have crosshairs where the mouse goes, and the duck should move across the screen unless you click on it. If you click on the duck's gonna fall out of the sky. If the duck falls out of the sky or flies off the screen, we should send a new duck and respawn a new duck. When we get to that point, we'll start thinking about different ways to improve the game. How do we create a score? How do we reload? Can we do some sort of animation when they shoot? Maybe incorporate sound. I don't know, but we'll see how far we get, and then maybe I'll leave some of those more creative enhancements to you guys. First thing it says to do on the README is to read through the canvas, but don't edit anything yet. Think about like what's going on in the setup. How wide's the canvas? How tall is the canvas? What code's new? What does it do? So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to hop over to script.js. I can see at the top I've got a couple of variables. Is alive, let is alive equal true, let up equal 0. So those are some things. I can see these to-dos, these comments that say to-do. Those kind of indicate to me that that's something that I need to do or you need to do as a student. To do number 7 and 8, we got a score system, difficulty increase, 9+, sound, reload, dog, more ducks, other features that we can add on. But right now we're talking about the setup function. So in this setup, I create a canvas. The first number or the first argument here is 600. And that's the width of my canvas. So I'm 600 pixels wide over here on the right-hand side. 400 pixels tall, so I have a height of 400 pixels on my canvas here. Ellipse mode center, we've done that. We've talked about that before. This one's new, no cursor. And what happens if you notice when I hover over the canvas, my cursor will disappear. That's because on the README, we're going to replace the mouse icon. Instead of the arrow, we want these crosshairs. So we'll make the crosshairs show up. And then I have a frame rate of 15. So that's it for the setup. I think that's pretty good. We're going to look at the draw duck function. Now it says don't edit this function. I'm just trying to think about how many parameters does the draw duck function require? Is there any code that's new or that we don't understand? So I'm going to scroll down to draw duck. The draw duck function right here starts on line 21. I've got 2 parameters, x and y, and those are going to control where the duck is drawn on the screen. Got some different colors: gray, dark green, light gray, orange for the beak and the duck feet. And then it looks like it's got an arc, which we haven't worked a lot with, but my big thing is don't mess with it. That arc is the wing of the duck, and you'll see what it does in a little bit. But anyways, so we're going to draw duck, and we need to know that whenever we call the draw duck function, we need to pass it 2 parameters, okay? X and Y. And that's going to control the position that we draw the duck on our screen. Okay? Go back to the README, kind of working our way down here. So now it's time for us to start doing the to-do list and completing those comments that it says. Read them carefully and discuss them with your partner. I'm going to walk through the first couple of these. Maybe I'll get 1 through 3 done in the first one. First thing we want to do is call the draw duck function. So we're going to go find to-do number 1 on script.js, and we're going to call that draw duck function. Remember, our draw duck function needs 2 parameters, x and y. So we're going to look for that comment for to-do number 1. I think it's down on line 51. So on right below that to-do is where I'm going to do this. I'm going to call the draw duck function. So draw duck, and then I need to put in 2 parameters, an x and a y value. It doesn't really matter. I think for right now, I'm just going to say 50 and for the x value and 100 for the y value, and I'm going to run my program. And if I do that, the duck gets drawn at a center x and y position of 50 for the x and 100 for the y value, and the wings flap up and down. Beautiful. Obviously, I'm going to make it so my duck moves later, but for right now, we've got the duck drawn. Remember that we have to call it with 2 parameters, 2 different values for its position. And that's it. So that's to-do number 1. To-do number 2 says draw the crosshairs around the mouse. and the 2 lines that go through the circle. So I'm looking for something that looks like this, like a little circle with a line going horizontally and vertically. To do that, let's go ahead and let's just draw the ellipse first. Ellipse, and we can kind of figure out where do we want it to go. Well, we want that circle to follow everywhere the mouse goes. So we're going to use mouse X for the X position and mouse Y for the Y position. Then we have to pick a size. I don't know how big we want these crosshairs. You can really choose. I think I'm going to start with just like a 30 by 30 circle. And at the end, I do want to make sure that I'm adding my semicolons at the end of each statement. And let's run that. Okay, so now when I move my mouse, I have a circle. That looks pretty good size, I think. Next thing I want to do is I want to try to draw these 2 lines for the crosshairs going up and down. So to do that, right below where we drew the ellipse, we're going to draw a line. Oh, got caps lock on. Line. And if I did mouse X, comma, mouse Y, if I start at the center of the circle and then I move to like the right of the circle, maybe I want to add some. So mouse X plus, my circle's 30 pixels across. So if I add like, I don't know, 15 pixels, that should draw from the center out to the right. And then maybe I'm just going to do like mouse Y. Let's see how this looks. Oh, I need my semicolons. That's okay. I got part of the crosshair. I don't want it to just stop at the middle though. So instead of just adding to the mouse X position, I'm also going to subtract 15 on the other mouse X position. So it's going to go from the left-hand side of the circle to the right-hand side. Well, that's pretty good. I actually want it to stick out past, so I'm going to increase that value to 20. Now, your values might be different. I'm using 20 because that's a little bit more than half of 30. That way it just sticks out a little bit past my circle. Okay? That's for the horizontal line. For the vertical line, we'll do the same thing. Mouse X, comma, mouse Y, comma, mouse X, comma, mouse Y. And right now, that won't draw anything. It'll just draw a little point. We won't be able to see it. Instead of moving to the left and to the right, based on the mouse X position, we're going to go to above and below using the mouse Y position. So we'll run it like that. And line mouse Y plus 20. I need one to go up and one to go down. So we're going to say one mouse Y minus 20 and one mouse Y plus 20. And now I've got my crosshairs. I think that looks pretty good for part 1. So I'm going to stop the video right there. That's part 1. We've drawn our crosshairs around our mouse, and we've gotten the duck drawn onto the screen, even though it doesn't quite move yet. We'll modify that on a little bit later when we do to-do number 3 and number 4. All right.